Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Buckeye Weekly Podcast. I'm Tony Gerdeman, here as always with Tom Orr. Tom, how's it going?
Tony, we are back home after the national championship game after a long month of travel. Good to be home, but the unfortunate news is as we were driving home, a bunch of news broke. So this is like a, eventual breaking news
Mm.
podcast. I don't know if we can officially label this breaking. It's if you haven't seen it, it's breaking news.
Y- Yes, this is all the back in the 90s on NBC. If you haven't seen it, it's new to you.
Mhm.
This is, for one, it's a timely reference. And then two, also, we are discussing Calvin Simpson-Hunt, redshirt freshman cornerback from Ohio State, transferring out, entering the portal for the Buckeyes. And originally from Waxahachie, Texas, a top 100 recruit, was originally committed, if I recall, to Texas Tech. Ohio State got in there a little bit late, and Ohio State is a very nice place to go for corners if they're interested in you. And he chose to become a Buckeye, and was making some noise as a true freshman. He came in late, and when I say late, he came in June, so he was already kind of against the wall based on that, and then playing catch up from there. But you'd heard good things about him, and certainly a tremendous athlete and a very fast guy and long and everything you want in a corner, but just didn't quite work out for him. Tom, when we talk about the blueprint, where does he fit in that in the transfer portal blueprints for players?
Well, I think he fits squarely in the category of, yeah, we could see this potentially coming because
Mhm.
you saw towards the end of this season that Aaron Scott certainly, and then maybe even Bryce West, two true freshmen this year, had sort of passed him in the pecking order. And he was someone who, towards the end of the 2023 regular season, you saw him out there. I think he played against like Minnesota and maybe might have been Michigan State, someone like that, towards the end of that 2023 season where they had some substantial leads. And you saw him out there and was like, all right, true freshman out there. That's good. That's a good sign for his long-term development and his long-term prospects. But then when you had Aaron Scott come in, and it felt like he past Calvin Simpson-Hunt fairly early in the season, where
Mhm.
you would see Aaron Scott out there a little bit earlier in the second half of lopsided games. And then towards the end of the season, Bryce West and Aaron Scott both played against Tennessee. I don't think Calvin Simpson-Hunt did. At least he may have played some on special teams, but not as much on defense. Again, this is one of these things where you can ask the coaches and they'll say, oh, all these guys are making great progress. And it's a little bit of a watch what they do, not what they say kind
Mhm.
of situation. And very clearly, those younger guys had jumped him in line. And they've got Daniel Sanchez coming in this year as well, who is, five-star corner, like potential elite cornerback. That may take a year or something like that, but the path to the playing field to getting one of those starting jobs as an outside corner, that was getting harder and harder for Ohio State. So this is one where you kind of could see the handwriting on the wall a little bit. And he if he goes closer to home, there are a lot of good spots, good landing spots in the state of Texas where he could go and end up being a very productive player.
Yeah, I would expect him to head back that way, or somewhere south, and uh, still plenty of time on his clock right there. And you mentioned Devin Sanchez, who
Mm.
is going to come in as one of the nation's top cornerback prospects and has already been around the program, along with all of the early enrollee freshmen who have gotten to experience this run and see how things are done. When you look at Calvin Simpson-Hunt, this year has not played since, I believe, maybe the Michigan game. Just scrolling real quick, the Indiana game, some
Mhm.
special teams. Last time he saw the field, did not see the field in the postseason or against Michigan. Has only been on defense once this year, and that was in Game 2 against Western Michigan. And looking here, and we'll credit the Dan Hope and the 11 Warriors snap counts on this, as we always do when we're looking at snap counts. He played in the first 8 or 9 games, and then has only played in one game since, basically, and just 6 snaps this year compared to 23 snaps last year. He played in 2 games on defense last year. And when your playing time diminishes, that's not usually an encouraging sign. So this one, you said it perfectly. Once you get passed by one younger guy, and then then there's another younger guy that passes you. And when you look at the cornerback snaps this year, Aaron Scott with 74, Bryce West with 29, and Calvin Simpson-Hunt with 6. So, yeah, I mean, you're certainly losing Denzel Burke. Perhaps, maybe, I don't want to say perhaps or probably maybe losing Davis and Igbinosun. We'll see what he decides to do. But everybody gets to move up one spot, and yet that's still Calvin Simpson-Hunt moving up one spot. You're still behind, as of now, Bryce West, Aaron Scott, and Jermaine Matthews. And who knows if he can hold off Devin Sanchez. So this one makes sense. And really, when we put a list together of potential transfers, he's on that list, not just for the lack of playing time, but also just kind of watching him from a distance and in practice and things like that. And even at the bowl game where it's like, you could see maybe like, not that he was disengaged, but he wasn't always had a smile on his face, or like you could tell like he was probably on his way out. Not that he was unhappy, but sometimes you can just tell when players are spending their last couple of days as a Buckeye, and that's kind of what the vibe I was getting from him. And so he'll go somewhere else, and he'll be a top prospect for them. Whoever lands him, the fan base, the message boards are going to be very happy. The coaches are going to be very happy because there's a lot to work with Calvin Simpson-Hunt. As I said, he's a track guy. He's legit, 6 foot 6'1". He's long, and he comes from a place that has produced some elite corners. So he's gotten to work with Tim Walton for 2 years. Guys that come play quarterback, they're excited about working with Ryan Day. Same thing with corners coming and working with Tim Walton. So he'll leave here. He'll go somewhere, taking some experience with him. And yet you look at what Ohio State has remaining, and I mentioned, the potential for Davis and Igbinosun to return, but Jermaine Matthews is a returning starter. That's how I'm going to categorize him. And then talking with Aaron Scott and Bryce West this past month a couple of times, they're both very excited about their potential duties, and Bryce West could end up inside or outside, and Aaron Scott, I think he expects to be a starter next year. Whoever shows up, he expects to be a starter next year.
Well, and they have 2 outside corners, but like this year they had 2 outside corners, but they had 3 starters because they considered Jermaine Matthews a starter, even though Denzel Burke and Davis and Igbinosun were starting outside. And you could easily see that situation. Even if Igbinosun returns, you could have Igbinosun and Jermaine Matthews outside, and then also Aaron Scott's a starter, and also Bryce West is in the slot, for example. And, so Lorenzo Styles Jr. is probably in the mix there in the slot as well. He's someone who played a lot as a sort of a dime back this year for them, and he's got another year, and maybe he fills that Jordan Hancock role, or maybe it's Bryce West. And they've got plenty of time to sort that out. And with as much as they shift guys around in that secondary, you could see guys cross training a bunch, and then you end up, even if you are the outside corner, you might end up playing in the slot, or if you're the slot guy, you might end up playing outside in some coverages. So the important thing, honestly, at this time of year is just, do they have enough pieces? And with all the guys I just talked about, plus you've got Miles Lockhart, who did not play. I don't know if he played much, if at all, this year, but he's coming back for his second year and has an opportunity to take on a bigger role. You've got Devin Sanchez coming in, who you have the luxury of him coming in and not needing him to be an immediate starter like Denzel Burke was, for example. But if he earns a bigger role, great, like wonderful. That's entirely possible. He'll earn a bigger role. He's one of those guys, you talk to the coaches around the program, and are they excited about him? And you got Jordan Woods coming in as a true freshman, a little taller corner. So there's a lot of guys in that room. And with the way Tim Walton develops people, you kind of look and go, there's enough raw material there. Tim Walton's a good enough developer that whatever the combination of corners is that they start, you should feel pretty good about that. So given where different units are in the country right now, with people being very thin in some spots, the Buckeyes going into next year, we'll see, if Igbinosun returns, that obviously gives them a lot more experience. But either way, it feels like this is a room that is talented enough and deep enough that they should have answers there, whatever that combination of answers ends up being.
100%. So there you go. Calvin Simpson-Hunt off to the portal, and we'll find a good landing spot for him and probably play some pretty significant minutes next year for whoever he chooses. So thank you all. Hit the thumbs up before you go. If you're watching on YouTube, we would appreciate that. And of course, hit the bell to be notified. Subscribe to the channel if you have not yet done so. And as always, find us at BuckeyeHuddle.com, $4.99 for your first month right now. And you know what? Season's over, but the grind never stops, and there is plenty to follow along as we continue to, oh geez, Tom, the championship confetti. If you could just tell people how insane this thing is going right now and how to be part of that insanity.
So yeah, I'm just shy of 150 people who want some. We picked up a bunch, and then we went back and picked up some more on the field after the game, and it was like, boy, this is an insane amount. There's no way we'll get rid of all of this, but I'm closer, I think, than I think I was expecting. So if you would like some, you should sign up this week, because this is something this is all going to go out by the end of the week, because I need this stuff out of my house and out of my life. So if you want some of it, you should sign up right now at BuckeyeHuddle.com. Hop on the Huddle board presented by Jeff Ruby's Columbus. There's a thread on the board titled something very clever like championship confetti, national championship confetti, in fact, with instructions in there on how you can get yours. Do it today. Do not sign up next Monday and go, where's my confetti? That will probably be gone. And once it is gone, it is gone. So if you want some, sign up today at BuckeyeHuddle.com. In addition to confetti, we also have a fantastic team of insiders covering the team, recruiting, the portal, X's and O's, all that good stuff. So in addition to confetti, there's actual reasons to sign up, but the confetti is kind of a fun reason to sign up now.
Yep, for sure. And of course, we also want to thank our sponsor, Grateful Griddle, who is here to take your events to the next level, whether it's a wedding, a corporate event, or a birthday party. Their Columbus food truck catering serves up mouth-watering smash burgers, customizable menus, and unbeatable service. Head to GratefulGriddleOH.com and let them handle the flavor while you enjoy the fun. Perhaps a post-championship celebration. Go ahead and check them out, and they can hook you up. So that will do it for us. Thank you all for tuning in, and we will talk to you guys later.